All right, thank you. At the end of my bill comments, we're going to post just a written version to the SpaceX website. So if you're happy to catch something while during my verbal discussion, that you'll be able to look at that in the written form immediately after the verbal comment end. Okay, so just going through the best of what we know thus far. And I do want to emphasize this is an initial assessment, and further investigation may reveal more over time. So I'll just run through it. Prior to the failure, the first stage of the vehicle was operating nominally, so there was no issues seen on the first stage at all. It actually continued to power through the overpressure event on the second stage for several seconds following the first stage coming apart. In addition, Dragon actually survived not only the second stage overpressure, but continued to communicate until the vehicle dropped below the horizon and out of range. In fact, if the software had initiated the parachute deployment, then the Dragon spacecraft would have survived. And for future missions, even for the cargo version of the Dragon spacecraft, we're now including contingency software that if something were to go wrong with the vehicle, Dragon will always attempt to save itself. This is certainly something that we have included in Dragon 2, which is the sort of crew, the next generation Dragon that will carry cargo and crew to the space station. But we've now advanced that activity to include it in Dragon 1 as well. So that's an unfortunate thing because we could have saved Dragon if we had the right software there. And so we've been going through the investigation with the daily participation and insight from the FAA, NASA, and the U.S. Air Force, and I'd just like to say a word of appreciation for the help that we've received here. It's been great to have so much expertise reviewing the flight data. And we're looking not just for issues that occurred that caused this failure, but any near misses that could potentially affect future flights. So we're looking very closely at saying, just in general, is there anything that we can do to reduce the probability of failure with future flights? But the fundamental nature of rocketry is that it is a case where a passing grade is 100% every time. It's not possible to issue a recall or a patch or anything like that. From the moment of liftoff, it's 100% or nothing. So we're looking for any tiny thing that could improve things in the future. Part of the reason why it's taken us a long time to at least come up with where the preliminary assessment is that there's such an enormous amount of data. We've over 3,000 telemetry channels, as well as multiple video channels and physical debris. And the key events in this case happened very quickly. From the first indication of an issue to loss of all data was just 0.893 seconds. So over the past few weeks, we spent thousands of hours going through a painstaking process of matching up the data across all telemetry systems down to the millisecond. It's very important to understand the exact sequence of what happened and then matching that to external video. And really, when milliseconds matter, it's remarkably difficult to actually line everything up exactly right. So the investigation remains ongoing, and we're continuing additional testing to fully validate these conclusions. So again, this is just our preliminary analysis, and the preliminary conclusion is that the failure arose from a strut in the second stage liquid oxygen tank. It was a strut that was holding down one of the compositor-wrapped helium pressure vessels. So within the upper stage liquid oxygen tank, most of the tank are a series of high-pressure composite bottles containing helium. The helium is used to pressurize the stage. So as the oxygen and fuel deplete, you have to replace that volume with gas and provide a minimum feed pressure to the engine and a pressure to structurally support the stage. It appears that one of those struts broke free during flight. Now, we do a whole bunch of tests on the ground, but part of the reason why that test did not identify the strut is that it's something that's sort of quite unique to rockets. Is as the stage is accelerating, the buoyancy increases proportionate to the G loading. So it might seem sort of a bit counterintuitive that as the rocket's accelerating, that something immersed in the tank would actually want to go up more. But that's basically what happens, is the buoyancy increases proportionate to the G loading. So at approximately 3.2 Gs, the strut holding down one of the helium bottles appears to have snapped. And as a result, releasing a lot of helium into the upstage oxygen tank and causing an overpressure event quite quickly. So it should be said, however, that we've flown several hundred such struts on every Falcon 9 vehicle, meaning there's a cumulative flight history of several thousand of these struts. Moreover, the strut that we believe failed was designed and material certified to handle 10,000 pounds of force, but actually failed at 2,000 pounds of force, which is a five-fold difference. Also, in examining detailed closeout photos of stage construction, we don't see any visible flaws or damage of any kind. So that's part of what caused us to be quite a puzzle. The telemetry data also, somewhat confusingly, shows a drop in the helium pressure system, which you would expect if there's a breach in the helium system, and then, somewhat strangely, a rise in the helium system back to approximately its starting pressure. This is obviously quite confusing, but we think what may have happened is that as the helium bottle broke free and twisted around, it may have pinched off the line to the helium manifold and restored pressure in the helium system, but released enough helium into the liquid oxygen tank to cause the liquid oxygen tank to fail. This is somewhat speculative, but that's the best explanation we can think of right now. So it's a really odd failure mode. Within the course of a second, this caused enough helium to be released, we believe, to overpressure the liquid oxygen stage, or the liquid oxygen tank at the upper stage. You don't really need to release a lot of helium because there's only about 2% gaseous volume in the stage, because the upper stage propellant is not being consumed. The first stage propellant is being consumed, obviously, as the first stage is thrusting, but the upper stage is not. So, obviously, what we're going to do in the future is we're obviously not going to use these particular struts, and we're going to move to individually testing each strut independent of any material certification. So no matter what something is actually certified to handle, we're not going to believe that. We're simply going to individually unit test every single strut. And this will result, obviously, in some cost increase to the rocket, but not, we believe, of a significant amount, and nothing that we think should affect the actual price of the vehicle, but nonetheless, it is some increased cost that will apply to the vehicle. So far, the investigation is not showing any other issues, but as said, we're looking closely for any near misses, and we intend to address anything that we can possibly think of to improve the probability of success in the future. But this is the first time we've had a failure in 7 years, so it's, I think to some degree I think the company as a whole became maybe a little bit complacent over the course of 7 years, and it took essentially 20 successes in a